Here's your wrestling news for March 7th, 2022. And your headlines for today include William Regal debuts at AEW Revolution, CM Punk channels his past, gets an assist from AEW's future to put down MJF. WWE fans livid over Brock Lesnar's Madison Square Garden opponent. AEW wrestler was sent to an emergency room. Swerve Strickland signs with AEW. Take-Two Interactive sending massive copyright takedown notices over WWE 2K22 screenshots. Big update on Jeff Hardy to AEW rumors. Chelsea Green suffers wrist injury during Impact Sacrifice. WWE trying new marketing tactic for Ronda Rousey, and more. We are kicking off today with AEW Revolution, where Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley had a bloody war, one which saw the former AEW World Champion get the win. Moxley rolled Danielson up while the submission expert had a triangle choke locked in, with Danielson clearly unhappy with the result. The two continued brawling after the match, with officials unable to stop them, and they likely would have continued had William Regal not made his AEW debut. Coming out with no music, Regal earned a loud pop from the crowd and literally knocked some sense into the two, slapping them in the heads and forcing them to shake hands in a sign of respect. This was a huge moment at Revolution, and it seems a new tag team has been formed. And with the veteran Regal as their manager, it'll be interesting to see what's next for Danielson and Moxley after Revolution. CM Punk also competed at last night's event, and ever since he joined AEW, his history has been a key part of his character. With AEW purchasing Ring of Honor, Punk gave a throwback to his ROH days as he brought back his entire persona from that time, complete with shorts, warm-up jacket adorned with X's, and even Miseria Cantare. MJF was shook at first, allowing Punk to get the early advantage, but when the veteran missed a sequence in the corner, Friedman took control, eventually reopening the wound inflicted on Punk on the latest Dynamite. Grabbing a mic, MJF wanted Punk to admit that he doesn't care about the fans, as Punk's 2014 walkout of WWE has been a huge part of their feud, but Punk told him to, quote, eat shit, much to the delight of the fans. A long match that relied on the story between the two men, things got more violent as thumbtacks were used to add to the drama. The finish came when Wardlow delayed giving the ring to his boss, sliding it to CM Punk instead, who immediately accepted the ring and used it to get the pinfall win. Punk celebrated with a tribute to the late Bruiser Brody, swinging the chain collar after his win, and this may be the biggest win of the former WWE Champion's AEW career. That's not to say that he hasn't had big wins before, as Punk's very first match for the company saw him take on Darby Allin at All Out 2021, where he beat the former TNT champion. Punk has also beaten some of the young prospects in AEW wrestling like Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty, and Powerhouse Hobbs, and holds wins over the likes of Wardlow and Eddie Kingston. But what his win over MJF proves is that Punk isn't just still a great wrestler, but is a great performer in the ring, as his story with the Salt of the Earth has been very real, chronicling MJF turning his former idol into his nemesis. If MJF were in WWE, we reckon his character would be afraid to get hit to protect his good looks, kinda like the Miz at his most vain, but Friedman and Punk put their bodies on the line last night to have one of the best matches in AEW. Now last Saturday, WWE Champion Brock Lesnar put his title on the line in a match that had huge buzz before the bell rang. With the match taking place inside Madison Square Garden, the opponent to be handpicked by Roman Reigns, and WWE's camera crew there to film the match, fans had convinced themselves it would be someone big, and maybe, just maybe, a title change was imminent. Instead, what we got was Austin Theory being squashed in 3 minutes, and fans aren't happy with the young superstar replacing the pre-announced but injured Bobby Lashley. On Twitter, fans expressed their outrage about Theory being Lesnar's chosen opponent, while others ridiculed those who had got their hopes up about a possible return, such as Cody Rhodes. WWE never promised anything other than a superstar would face Lesnar, and they certainly delivered on that promise. But for fans who'd worked themselves into thinking something major was about to happen, they were let down. Back to AEW, as the Jurassic Express are the reigning World Tag Team Champions, but while the group initially comprised of Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt, fans haven't seen the latter in some time. In his place, Christian Cage has served as a mentor for the time, and it was reported that Stunt's AEW contract won't be renewed. That certainly seems to be the case given that Stunt has been taking indie bookings for the past month, and we now know where exactly he's been. On Twitter, Stunt revealed he's been in the ER for a long time due to a kidney stone, and though he's feeling better, he's still very weak. Marco Stunt has a lot on his plate right now outside of his pro wrestling career, and we hope he'll be able to make a full recovery as soon as possible. More from Revolution, and William Regal wasn't the only big ex-WWE name to appear at Revolution, as Shane Strickland is officially All Elite. Debuting during the show, the former Isaiah Scott joined Tony Schiavone on stage to officially sign his contract and asked the crowd whose house it was. On Twitter, Tony Khan confirmed that Strickland is now an AEW contracted performer, following weeks of reports that the ex-NXT North American champion would be coming to the company. Strickland, like the majority of Hit Row, was released from WWE on November 18th of last year, mere weeks after their main roster call-up, and he'll now have the chance to impress fans on TV again, this time for AEW. Revolution also saw an epic six-man tag between the Andrade Hardy family office and the team of Sting, Sammy Guevara, and Darby Allin, and while it was Allin who'd get the win, it was Sting who stole the show. Proving that he can still go both in and out of the ring, the Icon did a dive from an arena balcony through several tables, much to the shock of the crowd. In WWE, Sting was retired after his 2015 Night of Champions botch with Seth Rollins, as the company didn't want to risk hurting the 62-year-old legend, but in AEW, the Stinger continues to prove why he still belongs in a wrestling ring. This week, WWE 2K22 will finally hit shelves, and it's one of the most highly anticipated wrestling games in a very long time. 2K Games have worked hard to produce a good game after the disastrous launch of 2K20, and with certain sites being allowed to offer gameplay previews, screenshots have quickly been shared online. Now, those sharing these screenshots are being targeted by Take-Two, the parent company that runs 2K, as they're sending out DMCA notices to anyone and everyone who shares material from the new game. Karrion Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux are just two names who have received takedown notices after sharing their entrances in the new game, and Ringside News says that the list of people who received notices is truly massive. This doesn't mean that 2K22 is going to be a bad game, but it doesn't exactly fill gamers with confidence, as it wasn't too long ago that Cyberpunk 2077 was released after plenty of hype, only to be a buggy and often unplayable mess. In response, the developers did an embargo banning any game material from being shared, and it'd be over a year before Cyberpunk would be considered playable. WWE 2K22 would have to sink pretty low to be as bad as Cyberpunk or its predecessor from 2 years ago, and 2K have claimed that the new title will be a massive improvement, though one they apparently don't want fans to share with others. Many fans have lost their Twitter accounts over the DCMA takedowns, but not before people started mocking all the player models and lack of real updates. Time will tell whether this move is to legitimately protect Take-Two's intellectual property or if they're just trying to hide another bad game. But for now, don't share content from 2K22 if you want to keep your account. Last December, Jeff Hardy was released from WWE after refusing to enter rehab following a concerning showing at a live event. Hardy's drug tests came back negative, and last month, Hardy claimed he was heading to AEW, but later clarified that nothing had been made official and that this was just what he was hoping would happen. It appears Jeff's wish is about to come true, as according to Fightful, Hardy is expected to debut for AEW on this Wednesday's Dynamite on March 9th. Wednesday will mark the day Jeff's non-compete clause with WWE expires, and it seems the charismatic Enigma can't wait to join the All Elite company. AEW themselves have been teasing Jeff's arrival for some time now, and despite WWE's best efforts, including offering a Hardy return and Hall of Fame induction, we're likely just days away from a Hardy Boys reunion under Tony Khan. Impact Wrestling now, as Chelsea Green competed at last weekend's Sacrifice pay-per-view, and not for the first time in her career, Green's plans were derailed due to an injury. During her match with Deonna Purrazzo, the referee threw up the X sign, indicating that a real injury had happened, but Purrazzo continued her attack, and the match was eventually stopped without Green tapping out. The fact that Purrazzo continued her attack made many question just how real Green's injury was, but on Twitter, the former WWE superstar confirmed that she'd suffered some kind of wrist injury. Green gave no indication of how long she'll be out, but poked fun at her history of wrist injuries, saying that she could copy and paste the caption where she thanks the fans for their support. It was a wrist injury in November 2020 that derailed Green's WWE main roster call-up, and she was eventually released before returning to TV, and we're hoping that doesn't happen this time around. And we're ending today with Ronda Rousey, who returned to WWE in January and has been on a roll as of late. With a title match against Charlotte Flair booked for WrestleMania, the betting odds suggest it's a matter of time before Rousey has a new championship for her collection, and she already has a new nickname. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said how WWE isn't promoting Rousey as the Hot Rod anymore, a tribute to the late Roddy Piper, but she's instead being promoted as Hot Mama. Shirts have already been made with the new name, and Rousey's attire for last Friday's match with Sonya Deville confirmed that she's now the Hot Mama of WWE. Rousey left WWE in 2019 because she wanted to start a family, something she and Travis Browne accomplished last year, and it turns out that Ronda's real-life entry into parenthood is the inspiration for WWE's latest marketing move. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.